Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to answer many burning questions from The Force Awakens that were not answered in The Last Jedi that will be explained in Episode 9 by JJ, Chris Terrio, and even George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, today is a big, important day because a lot of fans are very excited about what they just saw on Good Morning America when they unveiled the footage that was revealed over at D23 just yesterday or the day beforehand, where we got to see the handful of footage of The Rise of Skywalker showing us a glimpse of Kylo and Rey, Dark Rey, and even C-3PO. And that brings us to one of the major moments in this film that's leading a lot of people to wonder exactly what's going on with C-3PO and his red eyes in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, this most certainly connects to many of the leaks that we have been going over before in the past. You guys may recall that on the world of Kijimi, there is going to be a droid factory, and inside of that droid factory, there's going to be a sequence in which C-3PO gets lost inside of that factory. It's said to be a callback and or a nice parallel to the factory in, of course, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, where Anakin's saber is cut in half. Basically, it's going to be just like that, except now in this scenario, C-3PO is going to basically become damaged once again. Now, in this particular scene, it's actually described that from the scenes that were filmed a couple of months ago, way prior to when they actually began reshoots, where there was a moment in which Anthony Daniels was suited up as C-3PO in a droid factory over at Pinewood, one of the big sets that were used for The Rise of Skywalker, where it's actually said that C-3PO gets lost inside that factory, and an abandoned Imperial chip gets inserted into his head, making him recall the memories of course, the Empire and the infancy of the First Order. Hence why he's got the red eyes. Now, that's a very interesting point because we do know that Episode 9 is going to answer many questions as well as creating new questions at the very beginning of this film that will be answered at the very end of Episode 9. So, the world of Kijimi, in case you guys do not know, it's actually said to be an ice planet that has snow, like a dust of snow over the entire world, that is actually said to not only contain the Thieves' Tower and the droid factory, but is also said to be the location in which Rey learns a little bit more about her parentage and exactly who she really is and where she comes from. It's also the story where Zorii Bliss comes into fruition, portrayed by no other than Keri Russell. So Keri Russell, in case you guys did not know, just yesterday she actually confirmed that she's an old friend of Poe Dameron's. So Zorii Bliss is an old friend of Poe Dameron's, and she's more around the lines of an anti-hero per se, rather than a villain. So she's not a full-on hero, she's not a full-on villain, but she's an anti-hero. So that's a very interesting side. So you can see her as a bounty hunter, perhaps, or maybe even a smuggler at that. Now, we do know that this film is going to feature new droids such as Dio, and of course other droids associated with the First Order that will be introduced in Episode 9 that we have yet to see. But C-3PO actually having a different system inserted into his head where he gets a different makeup, if you will. A different, I guess you could say, digital makeup that allows him to remember certain memories of the Empire. Now, we're not quite sure if this is really intentional by, of course, Rey and her crew, or if this is an accident. That's one thing, and one big question open on the table for discussion. Now, this is once again also not just a parallel to that of Attack of the Clones, but it's also a parallel to when, of course, C-3PO was in the original trilogy, and he's basically ripped to shreds. Basically, that's going to happen once again. You guys may recall the leaked poster a couple of months ago that's going to be used for merchandise, where C-3PO is literally holding a rifle. And the reason being is because it has to do with the red eyes, and it has to do with the new memory chip that's going to be inserted from an older droid that was associated with the Empire. A lot of people are wondering it could perhaps be something like a K2SO type of droid that's actually going to be inserted into C-3PO's mind. But with that being said, this movie does have a lot of twists and turns coming our way that's going to change how we view the Skywalker saga, and how everything will unfold in this movie is all going to be utilized in a very specific and unique way by JJ and George Lucas. I think that's one of the big pieces of excitement, of one of the big pieces of the hype, I should say, of Episode 9 is the fact that George is involved, and how George was able to really propose a lot of ideas to J.J. Abrams, and to really make him remember elements of the EU. And you guys may recall that even in the EU, there were moments in time in which we had 3 different factions, where you had the Rebellion, the Empire, and of course a different faction that was also somewhat like the Empire, except pretty much split from the other Empire. And that's exactly what we are getting in The Rise of Skywalker. You guys may have seen the older Star Destroyers that are actually said to be the Sith fleet that belongs to Darth Sidious / Palpatine, hence why it has red markings now. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.